Welcome, dreamers. Tonight, we drift together to a quiet seaside world where the waves whisper, the stars shimmer softly, and a gentle lighthouse guides sleepy hearts through the night. Here, a kind girl named Amina, her glowing cat Nuru, and the peaceful lighthouse keeper Captain Willow care for the dreams of the world, sending comfort, calm, and starlight to anyone who needs rest. Amina arrives at Luma Bay. Lose your eyes now. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw loosen just a little. And allow your breath to slow in and out. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Sleep will come whenever it wishes to visit you. For now, we are simply drifting. Imagine a soft, dreamy cartoon world, gentle and rounded, like clouds drawn in sky blue pencil. The colors are pastel and peaceful, as though every object and every wave remembers to whisper rather than shout. This place is called Luma Bay, and tonight, you are floating toward it like a feather drifting on moonlight. The air is warm and kind. The moon hangs lazily above the water, not bright, not loud, just a sleepy lantern watching quietly over the world. And somewhere in this dreamy land, Amina arrives. Amina is a sweet little cartoon girl who always speaks softly, as if every word she says has been wrapped gently in a blanket. Her hair falls like soft ink lines over her shoulders, and she wears a night blue cloak with tiny silver stars stitched into it, stars that seem to twinkle when she laughs. And tonight, she is very calm, very sleepy, but curious, always. Curious, she steps off a sleepy little boat that has quietly nudged against the wooden pier. The pier itself gives a gentle creak, not a scary sound, just the sound of wood remembering. Old stories, the water sighs, the moon smiles, and far in the distance, a lighthouse glows. But this isn't an ordinary lighthouse. This is the midnight lighthouse of Luma Bay, where the light doesn't shine harshly. Instead, it glows like a big, cozy nightlight. The tower is tall but gentle-looking, with rounded cartoon stones and a little red hat roof that sits like a sleepy cap, tilted slightly to one side. And at the very top, a soft, dreamy beam of moon-colored light slowly rotates, not to warn ships, but to guide dreams. Amina stands there on the pier for a moment, simply breathing. She inhales the salty sweetness of the air and feels how light her body is. Here, she smiles gently. Nuru. The glowing cat winds softly around her ankles. Nuru glows a very gentle lavender light, not bright enough to disturb sleeping eyes, just enough to make you feel warm and safe. His fur looks like it has been drawn with the softest crayon ever made. And when he purrs, it sounds like a lullaby. "Welcome back, Amina," he says, because in Luma Bay, cats can speak, but only in soft bedtime voices. You arrived at the perfect time. The sea is sleepy, the moon is calm, and Captain Willow has warm cocoa waiting. Amina nods. "Let's walk slowly," she whispers, as though she doesn't want to disturb the night. And that's exactly what they do. They follow a winding cobblestone path that curls up the hill toward the lighthouse. Each little stone glows just faintly beneath their feet, guiding the way like tiny stars that fell asleep and forgot to fly back to the sky. The hill is cozy, not steep, not scary, just a gentle slope that encourages slow walking. Perfect sleepy walking. As they walk, the sounds of Luma Bay wrap around them like a blanket. The waves, the breeze, soft and whisper light. the distant call of friendly nightbirds gliding slowly through the sky. Everything is peaceful. Everything is unhurried, just like your breath. Slow and steady, up ahead. The lighthouse door glows warmly. It looks like a door that has always been happy to see visitors. The wood is round-edged and painted creamy white. A brass handle shaped like a crescent moon waits patiently. As Amina reaches out, the door opens. And there stands Captain Willow. Captain Willow is a very cozy-looking cartoon old man with a beard. So fluffy, it might actually be made of clouds. He wears a soft blue sweater with tiny lighthouses stitched onto it, and a red wool hat that droops like a sleepy tulip. His eyes are warm. His smile is kind. And his voice sounds like a hug. "Well, hello, Amina," he whispers gently. "And hello, dear Nuru. Come inside." The night is peaceful, and the kettle has been singing softly for some time now. They step inside. The lighthouse. Interior is round and soft, everything curved and gentle so that corners don't poke into dreams. Wooden stairs spiral upward in a lazy, slow-motion curve. Lanterns glow in honey gold light. There are cushions everywhere, big, flumpy cushions in starry fabrics, the kind you want to curl into forever. A fire crackles softly in a stone hearth. Not loud, just a friendly crackle. Captain Willow pours warm cocoa into small cups painted with moons and clouds. He doesn't rush. Nothing rushes here. He hands Amina a cup. "Tell me," he says gently, "what brings you to the midnight lighthouse tonight?" Amina smiles softly. "I think," she says, looking into the swirly cocoa, "I came here to rest, to listen to the sea, and to help guide sleepy dreams." Captain Willow nods slowly. "That is a very good reason." Nuru curls into a soft donut shape beside the fire. His glow spreads gently through the room, filling it with lavender calm. And Captain Willow begins to speak, not loudly, but in the way one might speak when the world is already drifting toward sleep. "You know, Amina, every night, when the dreamers of the world begin to close their eyes, the midnight lighthouse lights its lantern, not to warn ships." He pauses, "but to remind every sleepy heart that they are safe." Amina nods again. She listens. Outside, the sea hums. Inside, warmth gathers, and for a few moments, nothing needs to happen at all. Just breathing, slow, easy, calm. And so begins Chapter 1. The arrival, the calm, the safety, the world of Luma Bay, opening gently like a soft-petaled flower in moonlight. This is where our journey unfolds, where Amina learns, where dreams glow, and where sleep becomes as natural as breathing. You are safe here, too. You are calm, and when your eyes grow heavy, sleep will know where to find you.
The room of bottled dreams. For a moment, nothing moves. Amina sits beside the soft crackling fire, her fingers wrapped gently around the warm cocoa cup. The warmth seeps slowly into her hands, into her arms, all the way up to her shoulders, like a cozy wave of calm. Nuru, the glowing lavender cat, snores very softly, just a tiny purring sound, like a lullaby made of air. His tail flickers with faint light, fading in and out, in time with his gentle breathing. Captain Willow watches them with a sleepy smile. The lighthouse listens. Outside, the night leans against the rounded stone walls. The sea makes a hush-hush sound as if it's telling its own story somewhere in the distance. You can imagine all of it, like a soft, hand-drawn cartoon, The round wooden floor, the curve of the walls, the way the light glows out in gentle halos instead of harsh beams. This is a world that was drawn for resting. Amina lets out a long, slow exhale that as she does. You might like to do the same. Breathe in softly through your nose. Hold for just a moment, and breathe out, a little longer, a little slower. Nothing to fix, nothing to hurry. Captain Willow sets his cup down with the tiniest clink and folds his cloud-like hands over his round, cozy belly. Amina, he says quietly, I think tonight you are ready to see the room of bottled dreams. Her eyes widen, but her body stays loose and calm. Even her surprise here is gentle, like a small glow instead of a jolt. The room of bottled dreams, she repeats, her voice barely above a whisper. Nuru's ears twitch. Even in sleep, Captain Willow nods, his wool hat bobbing slightly. Yes, he murmurs. It's where the lighthouse keeps the quiet wishes and sleepy thoughts that drift over Luma Bay each night. Nothing is lost here. Every soft hope, every peaceful dream, finds a place to rest. He stands slowly. No sudden movements. Everything he does matches the pace of someone who trusts there is more than enough time. Come along, he says. If you'd like to, of course. Amina rises, setting her cocoa on a low little table shaped like a crescent moon. There's no rush. She stretches her fingers, feeling how relaxed they are in this place. Nuru opens one eye and blinks lazily. Are we going upstairs? He asks, his voice thick with drowsiness. Yes, Nuru, Captain Willow replies warmly. To the bottled dreams. You may come, or you may rest here. Both are good choices. Nuru considers this for a long, lazy moment, then uncurls himself and pads over to Amina's side. I'll come, he says. Dreams like cats, and cats like dreams. He presses against her leg, and his gentle glow spills over her slippers. They walk together toward the spiral staircase. Sparkles the stairs wind around the inside of the lighthouse like a sleepy spiral of chocolate. Each step is broad and gentle, made to be climbed slowly. Amina places one foot on the first step. Something lovely happens. The wood beneath her glows softly, like a sleeping star awakening just a little. Not bright, just enough to say, I see you. I'm here with you. Climb as slowly as you like. Captain Willow follows behind them, his hands resting lightly on the rail. As they climb, lanterns fixed along the wall glow one by one, patient, kind circles of light, as if they are waking up just enough to guide the way. Amina runs the fingers of one hand along the smooth wooden banister. It feels warm, not from heat, but from the memory of hundreds and hundreds of sleepy visitors who have done exactly this, climbed slowly, breathed softly, and allowed themselves to relax a little more with each step. Step, glow, step, glow. The movement becomes a rhythm that, if you like, you can imagine yourself climbing with them, not actually moving your body at all, but letting your mind drift up the stairs, following the glow. Step by step. Nothing is heavy here, even the idea of walking feels light. Captain, Amina murmurs, why does the lighthouse keep dreams in bottles? He smiles gently, his beard fluffing. Well, he says, dreams are very delicate things. Sometimes, they need a little place to rest before they find the right sleeping heart. A bottle is a safe little nest. And in the lighthouse, every bottle is treated with care. Nuru flicks his tail, and sometimes, he adds, dreams that are too shy to visit people on their own stay here until they feel brave enough. Amina's eyes soften. She likes that idea. They climb a little higher. The air grows just a bit cooler. The kind of cool that makes blankets feel extra nice. Through a small round window to their left, Amina glimpses the sea, moving slowly beneath the moon like ink in a calm jar. The waves don't clash here. They sway. Do people know their dreams are here? Amina asks. Not exactly, Captain Willow says. But sometimes, when they fall asleep near the ocean, and they feel a strange little comfort, that's the lighthouse saying hello. At last, they reach a rounded landing. Before them is a door unlike any other in the lighthouse. Sparkles. The door to the room of bottled dreams is made of frosted glass framed with soft, pale wood. Tiny swirls are carved into the surface, clouds, waves, stars, and little cartoon hearts, all sketched in gentle, flowing lines. Behind the frosted glass, little lights shimmer in slow pulses, like fireflies breathing. Amina feels a ripple of awe move through her. Not excitement that jolts the heart, more like the warm feeling you get when someone tucks a blanket higher on your shoulders. May I? She whispers. Of course, Captain Willow says. Tonight, you are part of the lighthouse's quiet work. Nuru hops gently onto a small shelf by the wall, sitting like a very fluffy guardian statue, whose tail occasionally glows. Amina wraps her hand around the small glass handle. It is shaped like a sleepy teardrop. The glass is cool and comforting. She turns it. The door opens with a sound like a soft sigh. Sparkles inside the room of bottled dreams. Everything glows, not like bright lamps or sharp neon, but like shelves of gently glowing starlight, contained in thousands of tiny, rounded bottles. The room is tall and circular. Wooden shelves curve around the walls in smooth, flowing arcs, following the shape of the lighthouse. Each shelf is filled with small cartoon-style glass bottles, rounded at the bottom, with little corks that look like soft dots placed carefully on top. Some bottles glow pale blue, others blush with peach, lavender, or gentle gold. Some faintly sparkle, like a distant constellation seen through sleepy eyes. The floor is polished wood, scattered with big, plush cushions shaped like clouds and moons. Amina's footsteps are almost silent, muffled by the softness around her. A long, low circular table sits in the center, with a thick, cozy rug underneath that has a pattern of sleepy stars. On the table lies a big, leather-bound book with soft corners, as though it's been read and hugged 1,000 times. The entire room hums with a feeling of kindness. Wow, Amina breathes, but even her wonder comes out like a sigh. Nuru slips down from the shelf and pads onto one of the cloud cushions, kneading it contentedly. I could nap right here, he murmurs. You could nap anywhere, Amina replies fondly. He doesn't deny it. Captain Willow comes to stand beside her, his hands tucked into his sweater pockets. Every bottle you see, he says in his slow, story voice, contains a dream that was once whispered into the air, somewhere near the sea. Some came from children. Some came from grown-ups who forgot, for a while, that they are still allowed to wish. Amina steps closer to one of the shelves. The bottles shimmer softly at her presence, as if aware of being noticed. May I look? She whispers. You may observe, Captain Willow says gently. The bottles like being noticed. But remember, we do not open a dream unless the lighthouse calls it to a sleeping heart. He places one warm, gentle hand over his chest. The dreams know where they belong. We only help guide them. Amina nods solemnly. She reaches out and hovers her fingertips just a hair away from the nearest bottle. The glow inside flickers very softly, like a tiny smile. What dream is that one? She asks. Captain Willow leans in, his eyes twinkling. Up close, Amina sees there is a little paper label tied around the bottle's neck with a soft piece of twine. The label is handwritten in curly letters, a dream of a safe boat ride under a giant moon. Amina smiles. She imagines a small cartoon child in a wooden boat, drifting under a moon so big and gentle it fills half the sky. The child isn't frightened. The boat doesn't tip. The waves only sway. She can almost feel herself there too, wrapped in moonlight, the rocking of the boat matching the rhythm of her breathing. Her shoulders drop just a little more. Another bottle catches her eye. This one is glowing a faint lavender, much like Nuru's fur. The label reads, "A dream of every worry turning into feathers and floating away." Amina's heart softens. "I like that one," she says. Nuru, now sprawled across the cushion, curls his tail closer to his body. "That's a very popular dream," he murmurs sleepily. "Feather worries are much easier to let go of than heavy ones." Amina moves along the shelf, reading labels in silence. "A dream of a library where every book is a happy memory." "A dream of walking on clouds that smell like vanilla." "A dream of being wrapped in a blanket made of starlight." Each little bottle holds a quiet possibility, a gentle story waiting to unfold behind closed eyelids somewhere in the world. "Do some people never receive their dreams?" she asks. Captain Willow shakes his head lightly. "Oh, they do," he says. "But sometimes, it can take a while. Dreams are very patient. They wait until the right night, the right breath, the right softness in someone's heart." He looks at her kindly. "That's why the lighthouse needs helpers, Amina. To listen, and to notice, and to send the right dreams when the time is just right." She looks back at him. "Can I help?" The question feels important. It hums in the air like a low, gentle bell. Outside, a wave shushes against the shore. Inside, the bottles glow more warmly. Captain Willow smiles, and for a moment, his eyes look just a little misty, not from sadness, but from that deep, quiet feeling when something precious has happened. "You already are helping," he says softly. "You are here. You are listening. And your heart is calm. That is more important than you know." He walks over to the table in the center of the room and pulls the big book gently toward him. "Come," he says. "Let me show you how we keep track of the dreams we've sent." Amina follows, her soft slippers making the faintest whisper on the floor. Nuru hops off his cushion and joins them, stretching in that long, slow way that only cats and very relaxed people can. Sparkles. The book opens with a faint rustle. Inside, the pages are thick and creamy, filled with neat handwriting. Little cartoon doodles decorate the margins, stars with smiley faces, tiny boats on waves, cats curled into spirals. At the top of each page, there is a date written, followed by a list. The child who fell asleep hugging a pillow shaped like a dolphin. One dream of swimming with friendly whales. The fisherman who worries too much about storms. One dream of a quiet sea and a gentle sky. The grandmother whose hands are tired. One dream of floating on a cloud that smells like fresh bread. Amina reads silently, her heart swelling with a warm, sleepy tenderness. "It's like a guest book of dreams," she whispers. "Exactly," Captain Willow replies. That he dips a feather quill into a small inkwell. "Even the ink here is soft, not pitch black, but a dusky blue-gray that looks gentle on the page. Tonight," he says, "we will be sending some new dreams." The lighthouse has already begun to listen. Can you feel it? Amina pauses, closing her eyes. For a moment, she simply breathes. She feels the wooden floor underneath her feet. She feels Nuru's fur gently brushing against her ankle. She hears the soft hush of the sea outside, the occasional distant call of a night bird, the faint crackle of the fire from the room below, and behind it all, a presence, calm, steady, like a heartbeat made of starlight. Yes, she whispers. I can feel it. The dreamers are lying down, Captain Willow murmurs. Around the world, here and there. Some of them near the sea. Some of them far away, but listening to the sound of waves from their speakers or imaginations. Their minds are still busy, but their bodies are growing heavy, ready to rest. Amina imagines beds in many places, cartoon houses with soft, rounded roofs. Little lamps turning off one by one. Blankets pulled up to chins. Eyes that blink slowly, then close. Some of them, Captain Willow continues, are still thinking about their day. Worries. Lists. Memories. Plans. Nuru makes a tiny, sympathetic sound. Poor things, he says quietly. They need feather worries. Amina looks up at the shelves again. Which dreams should we send first? She asks. Captain Willow smiles in that gentle, knowing way. We don't choose with our minds, he says. We choose with our listening. He gestures toward a small balcony at the far side of the room. A rounded archway frames it, and beyond, soft night air drifts in. Come, he says. Stand with me there. We'll listen together. The balcony is small and round, framed by a short wall topped with smooth stone. From here, Luma Bay stretches out in sleepy gradients of blue and silver. The sea is a dark, inky cartoon blue, lightly scribbled with soft white lines where the waves touch the shore. The moon sits low, like a giant lantern hanging over the world, its reflection rippling gently across the water. Far below, the little town by the bay lies mostly dark. A window glow here, a porch light there. Boats rock gently at their moorings, their ropes creaking softly in the hushed. A cool, gentle breeze brushes past Amina's cheeks, carrying the faint scent of salt and something sweet, like vanilla and warm milk. Nuru hops up onto the balcony wall and sits beside her, his tail curling around his paws. His eyes are half closed, but still alert in that very peaceful way. Captain Willow stands on her other side, his hands resting lightly on the stone. His beard flutters slightly in the wind, like a sleepy cloud. Now, he whispers, we breathe. They all breathe together. In and out, slow, soft, calm, with each breath. Captain Willow says quietly, we let our hearts grow quieter. The quieter we become, the better we can hear the whispers of dreams waiting to be sent. Amina closes her eyes. You might like to close yours too, if they aren't closed already. Her breathing settles. In and out, she imagines each exhale carrying away a tiny bit of leftover noise from the day. Little thoughts like, did I do that right? What will happen tomorrow? Did I forget something? They all float up like small balloons, and then drift away, farther and farther, until they are just tiny dots in a sky that is already full of stars. After a little while, there is space in her chest, space in her mind, space for something gentle to arrive. She begins to feel impressions. Not pictures exactly. Not words. Just feelings. A little weight of worry. An ache of tiredness. A quiet wish for comfort. Do you feel them? Captain Willow murmurs. Yes, Amina whispers. It feels like many little hearts, all saying, please, can I rest now? Nuru's tail twitches softly. They're calling, he says. Not loudly. But the lighthouse hears. Captain Willow nods. He lifts one hand and makes a tiny motion, as if inviting the air to speak more clearly, and the light at the top of the lighthouse, the big lantern that turns slowly through the night, gives a soft, almost imperceptible brightening, just a little, just enough to say, I hear you. Amina watches, her heart full. How do we choose? She asks again, but now her voice is even softer. We don't choose, Captain Willow says. We respond. He turns back toward the room of bottles and gestures with a small tilt of his head. Come, he says. Let's see which dreams are asking to be sent tonight. Sparkles back inside. Something amazing has happened. Some of the bottles are glowing a little more brightly than before. Not many, just a few scattered across the shelves. Their colors are richer. Their light pulses in a slow, gentle rhythm, like someone breathing in sleep. Amina walks slowly among them. Each step is deliberate, unhurried. She doesn't reach out at random. She lets herself be drawn. One bottle, a pale gold one with little flecks of silver, seems to call to her. She stops in front of it. The label reads, A dream of being wrapped in a blanket made of starlight. She feels warmth in her chest. This one, she says softly. Captain Willow nods. Somewhere tonight, he says, someone has pulled their blanket around themselves and wished it felt like more than cloth. They wished it felt like a hug from the sky. Nuru hums approvingly. A good dream, he says. Captain Willow carefully takes the bottle from the shelf. He doesn't uncork it. Instead, he holds it in both hands and closes his eyes, bowing his head slightly. Amina, he murmurs, place your hand here. She gently lays her small cartoon hand over the glass. It feels cool at first, then slowly warms under her touch. Now, he says, think of that person, whoever they are. You do not need to know their name, or their face, or their age. Just imagine that they are tired. That they have tried their best today. And that all they want now is to feel safe. Amina takes a slow breath. She thinks of someone, anyone, lying in a dark, quiet room, feeling the weight of a soft blanket but still not feeling calm. She imagines that moment when they wish, I just want to feel held. I just want to rest. Her heart fills with quiet compassion. They are safe, she thinks silently. They are cared for. They can let go. The glow in the bottle deepens. Captain Willow opens his eyes. Good, he whispers. Now we send. He carries the bottle carefully to the balcony doorway. Amina and Nuru follow. Standing there, he lifts the bottle toward the lantern's glow. The big light responds, brightening just a little, not enough to disturb the night, only enough to kiss the glass with moonlit radiance. Then, without opening the bottle, Captain Willow makes a slow, circular motion, as if tracing a gentle spiral in the air over the bottle's surface. The glow inside begins to swirl. It rises, like mist. It glides through the glass as though the glass were only a suggestion. A soft, shining cloud, the color of quiet starlight, drifts out of the bottle and floats upward, joining the main beam of light at the top of the lighthouse. For a moment, the beam shimmers like woven threads of gold and silver. Then, it stretches outward across the bay, over the town, drifting farther, farther, somewhere, far away, or very near. It will find the one who asked for it. Amina watches, her heart filled with a gentle awe that does not jolt or startle. It just deepens her sense of peace. That's it? She asks softly. That's how it works. Captain Willow smiles. That's how it begins, he replies. The dream finds its way from the bottle, to the light, to the person who needs it, usually right as they begin to drift between waking and sleep. Nuru's eyes are half closed now. You're helping them, he says to Amina, his voice drowsy. You're helping someone you will never meet fall asleep with a softer heart. Amina feels something settle gently inside her. A purpose, quiet, peaceful, never rushed. Can we send more? She asks. Captain Willow nods. We can send as many as we are calm enough to send, he says. But we do it slowly. Carefully. One dream, one breath, at a time. Sparkles they return to the shelves. Another bottle glows softly. This one a cool, soothing blue. A dream of all worries turning into feathers and floating away. That one, Nuru says immediately, patting over. Definitely that one. Amina giggles softly, the sound like soft bells. I thought you'd pick this, she whispers. Together, they repeat the process, touching the bottle, thinking of a worried heart, sending out the dream in a swirl of feathery blue light. Another bottle awakens. A dream of walking slowly on a beach where every wave says, it's okay. Perfect, Amina murmurs. Again they send, they fall into a gentle rhythm. Notice, hold, breathe, imagine someone who needs rest. Send, each time. The lighthouse beam carries the dream away into the night. Its light never harsh, always soft and sleepy, like the glow from a child's nightlight at the perfect distance. And with each dream they send, Amina feels more peaceful. Nuru's purr becomes a constant, soothing vibration. Captain Willow's movements grow slower, even more measured. At one point, Amina notices something surprising. As they send out dreams for others, her own body feels heavier in the most comforting way. Her shoulders relax, her feet feel gently rooted to the floor, her eyelids begin to feel a little heavier as well, not in a way that pulls her away from the moment, but in that lovely, floating way when you know that if you lay down, sleep would arrive quickly. You see, Captain Willow says softly, as if reading her thoughts. When we help others rest, it often helps us rest too. Amina smiles sleepily. Nuru yawns. His yawn is so big and slow that anyone hearing it might feel a little sleepy themselves. If you'd like, you can let your own jaw loosen now too, letting your mouth rest in a relaxed, soft position. There is no need to hold tension here. No need to clench. No need to hurry. For a while longer, they continue their gentle work. A dream of a cozy cabin. A dream of flying low over calm seas. A dream of standing under a sky full of friendly constellations that wink and wave. One by one, the glowing bottles release their delicate contents to the care of the lighthouse beam. Eventually, the room grows quieter. Fewer bottles glow brightly, most are dim, resting. The air hums with quiet satisfaction, like a lullaby just after the last note has been sung. Captain Willow closes the big book gently. After recording each dream they sent, Amina runs her fingers over the cover. Do they know? She asks softly. The dreamers, I mean. Do they know that we helped? Not in words, Captain Willow replies. But sometimes, they wake up with a strange feeling of having been cared for. They don't know why they slept a little better. They just know something was kind to them in the night. He looks at Amina warmly, and that is enough. Nuru has curled back up on the cloud-shaped cushion, his eyes now fully closed. His breathing is slow and deep, the room of bottled dreams seems to breathe with him. In and out, the shelves glow faintly, the bottles settle, the lighthouse beam continues its slow, endless turning outside, now infused with the soft dreams they sent. Captain Willow looks at Amina. "You have done very well tonight," he says. Amina feels a gentle pride, but it is not sharp or urgent. It's more like a blanket placed lightly around her shoulders. "I feel." She pauses, searching for the right words. "Quiet inside." He nods, pleased. "That is the lighthouse's favorite feeling," he says. "Quiet inside. It means you are perfectly ready." He trails off, his eyes twinkling. "Ready for what?" Amina whispers. "Ready," he says softly, "for your own dreams." He gestures toward a small nook in the room, a little alcove with a round window looking directly out at the sea. In the nook, there is a small bed shaped like a half-moon, piled with soft, star-patterned blankets and plush pillows that look like clouds. Amina's eyes soften at the sight. The bed looks like it was drawn just for her. Just for this moment. Just for this night. "For me?" she asks, though she already knows the answer. "For you," Captain Willow confirms. "Sleep here if you wish. Let the lighthouse keep watch over you, the way it keeps watch over everyone else. Tomorrow, we will see what dreams visited you, and perhaps, we'll even find your dream bottle on one of these shelves." Amina walks slowly to the little moonbed. She runs her hand along the blanket. It feels impossibly soft, like touching the part of a cloud that never learned how to rain. She slips off her slippers and climbs in. The mattress hugs her gently, as though it has been waiting forever for her shape. Nuru, without a word, hops up and curls right beside her, his back pressed against her stomach. His glow is faint now, just enough to make a tiny halo on the blanket. Captain Willow pulls the blanket up over Amina and Nuru, tucking it lightly around them. "There," he whispers. "Perfect." The lighthouse hums around them, the sound of stone and wood and light all agreeing that this is a very good moment. "You are safe in Luma Bay," he says quietly. "You are watched over by the midnight lighthouse. You have done enough. You have helped enough. And now, it is time to rest." Amina's eyes flutter. She feels the gentle rhythm of Nuru's breath under her hand. In and out, she listens to the sea outside the window, the waves saying, "Ashtich, ashtich, ashtich." She hears the slow pulse of the lantern as it turns, the faint creak of beams, the soft rustle of pages in the book of dreams as it settles. Everything is comforting, everything is gentle. Captain Willow steps back, his silhouette framed softly against the glow of the shelves. "If you drift off," he says, "that is perfectly all right. You don't need to listen to every part of every story. The lighthouse will keep telling them anyway. You can sleep whenever your heart decides it is ready." Amina smiles with her eyes almost closed. "Thank you," she whispers. Nuru purrs. "You're welcome," the lighthouse seems to say, though it uses no words at all. Amina takes one last slow breath. In and out, and as her mind grows lighter, and her body grows heavier, the lighthouse, the sea, the bottles, the room of dreams, all begin to blur, like a soft watercolor painting left out in a gentle mist. Far above, the beam of light turns, sending dreams into the world, and one especial thread of light curls downward, through the window, over the moon-shaped bed, wrapping Amina and Nuru in a soft, invisible blanket of starlight. Everything is safe, everything is calm, everything is allowed to rest. You are allowed to rest too, whenever you are ready. The garden where dreams grow. Amina sleeps, and when she sleeps inside the midnight lighthouse, she does not fall into darkness. She drifts, like a leaf upon the calmest tide, like a soft cloud floating across the palest moon, like a tiny lantern wandering peacefully through starlight. Her breathing is steady, slow, gentle. Nuru sleeps beside her, curled into a perfectly round little spiral of lavender glow. His purr rises and falls like ocean waves lapping at the shore, sometimes loud enough to notice, sometimes fading almost to silence. Captain Willow quietly dims the lanterns in the room of bottled dreams, leaving only the softest glow, enough to hold the night like a cradle. And outside, the beam of the lighthouse turns, slowly, calmly, holding the world steady. Sparkles. Amina dreams. But her dream is not confusing or tangled or fast. It opens gently, like the first page of a favorite bedtime book. She finds herself standing barefoot on a path made of soft, velvety moss. The air is warm and sweet. It smells like vanilla clouds and the faintest hint of honey drifting on the breeze. Above her, a sky of watercolor indigo stretches out, dotted with big, friendly stars drawn in soft pastel light. Some stars wink. Some glow quietly. None of them feel far away. Amina looks down at herself and sees that she is the same cartoon Amina. Soft lines, gentle colors. But here, her cloak of night blue has silver stars that shimmer just a little brighter, as though they've been polished by dreams. Nuru walks beside her, as he often does. Only in the dream he is a little rounder, a little fluffier, and his glow is softer still. His tail waves lazily behind him like a sleepy ribbon. Where are we? Amina asks softly. Her voice does not echo. It floats. He blinks up at her. In your sleep, he replies. But also, somewhere real. How can it be both? She asks. He shrugs, a tiny, cartoon shrug dream places often are. Ahead of them, the path curves gently, leading toward a glow rising like dawn over a low hill. Soft fireflies drift lazily in the air, not buzzing, not darting, just floating in slow, peaceful spirals. Amina's feet sink slightly into the moss, but in the nicest possible way, as though the ground simply wants to hug her toes. Each step is feather light. She notices something else. She doesn't feel rushed or worried or confused. Every part of her feels rested and supported. Even her thoughts move slowly, like clouds crossing the sky in no hurry at all. Where are we going? She asks. Someplace kind, Nuru says. Follow the softness. It knows the way. They walk, sparkles as they crest the hill. The view opens before them, and Amina breathes in a little gasp of wonder. Before them lies a garden, but not a garden of vegetables or ordinary flowers. This is a dream garden. It stretches gently across rolling hills, all bathed in starlight. But the plants here are not just green stems and petals. They glow, they shimmer, and they breathe. Not literally, but their lights pulse softly like sleepy heartbeats. Each dream flower is different. Some look like soft dandelions made of moonlight. Some look like roses drawn in watercolor silver. Some look like delicate glowing feathers growing from crystal stems. Others resemble softly swaying lanterns, petals curling open like tiny night lights. And the colors, oh, there are deep violets like bedtime skies, warm ambers like candlelight on winter evenings, soft blues like the hush of the sea at midnight, and pearly whites like gentle wishes whispered into a pillow. As the breeze flows through the garden, The dream flowers sway, and as they sway, they hummed out a faint melody fills the ear, soft as lullaby music. No instruments. Just a tender, floating harmony, as if the garden is singing the world to sleep. Amina's whole chest loosens at the sound. She didn't know she had been holding even the tiniest bit of tension there, and now it melts. Nuru sits, tail curling neatly around his paws. Welcome, he says softly, to the place where dreams begin. Amina's eyes widen. She looks around slowly, savoring the view the way someone might savor warm cocoa. This is where they grow? She asks. Yes, he replies. Every dream that ever floats into the room of bottled dreams first grows here, in the garden. She takes a few careful steps forward. The path becomes a smooth walkway of pale stone, warm to the touch and shaped in soft curves that match the hills. There are no sharp edges here. Everything in the dream garden was designed by someone who deeply believes in comfort. As Amina walks past a cluster of delicate silver bloom lanterns, one bends slightly toward her, almost like a bow of greeting. She bows back instinctively. The flower glows just a little brighter. Pleased, what makes a dream grow? Amina asks. Nuru blinks slowly. A wish, he says. But not always the kind people say out loud. Some wishes are quiet. Some barely dare to form into words. He places a paw over his chest, but the heart whispers them anyway. The breeze carries the scent of lavender and starlight. Somewhere, a small wind bell chimes lazily, the sound so gentle that it barely interrupts the silence. Amina notices signs placed here and there at the edge of each cluster of dream flowers. The signs are painted in soft, calming colors, and the letters are written in curvy script. She steps closer to one. It reads, "Glowing star dream blooms," the wish for something gentle, as if responding to being read. The flowers in that patch glow a little more warmly. She moves to another, crescent moon dream lanterns. The wish not to be alone. Her heart swells, not in a painful way, but in that tender way when kindness is close. Do nightmares grow here too? She asks, softly, almost worried. Nuru shakes his head. No, he says. Nightmares grow in tangled places, in wild, frightened corners of imagination where no one has swept in a while. But even nightmares sometimes wander here, and when they do, he flicks his tail gently. The garden helps them soften. Amina looks relieved. The dream flowers continue to sway, their lullaby humming like a mile-wide purr, sparkles as they walk deeper into the garden. Amina notices something else. Some blooms are small, little shimmering buds, sleepy and curled up. Others are half open, petals unfolding in slow motion. A few are fully blossomed, their glow warm and strong, steady as a heartbeat. What makes them open? She asks. Time, Nuru replies. Patience. And kindness. He smiles in that cat way, slow blink, soft whiskers, and sometimes, a little gentle attention. He gestures toward one tiny bud growing near the path. It glows only faintly, like a star glimpsed from far away. Amina kneels beside it. What dream is this one? She whispers. Nuru looks at the tiny tag tied to the stem. A dream of believing I am enough. Amina's chest tightens. Just a little. That's an important dream, she says. One of the most. He agrees. The bud trembles slightly. Shy, Amina gently cups her hands around it. Not touching, just sheltering. You're safe, she whispers. Grow as slowly as you like. There's no rush. The bud glows a little brighter, just a little, but enough. Her heart warms, sparkles. They continue. Eventually the path widens into a central clearing. Right in the middle stands a giant dream tree. Its trunk is smooth and pale, like moon-polished wood. Its branches curve gracefully outward, draped with hanging dream blossoms like lanterns suspended from strings of starlight. The roots curl gently over the ground, creating natural seats and cozy hollows. Amina sits on one, and it fits her like it was drawn for her specifically. Nuru climbs lightly up onto a branch and curls around it like a sleepy scarf. "This is the first dream tree," he says softly. "The oldest dream in the world lives here." Amina looks up toward the highest branch. There, glowing softly but steadily, hangs a single, perfect blossom, larger than all the others. It is shaped like a closed lily made of light. Not unopened, but always gently opening. "What dream is that?" she asks, almost reverently. Nuru's voice becomes very quiet. "The dream that everyone, everywhere, deserves peace." Amina feels tears touch the edges of her eyes, but they are not sad tears, just soft ones. "Does it ever fade?" she asks. "No," he says. "Even when the world forgets it for a while, the tree remembers." She leans back against the trunk. The wood feels warmed out. A deep sense of comfort settles around her, like a shawl placed tenderly across her shoulders. The dream garden isn't loud about its magic. It doesn't dazzle. It doesn't shout. It soothes. It reassures. It reminds. Sparkles after a time. There is no rush to measure. A gentle voice flows through the clearing. "You have come far, little dream keeper." Amina turns. Standing just beyond the circle of roots is a tall, graceful cartoon figure with long, flowing hair that glimmers like moonlit water. Their robe is woven from threads of starlight, drifting softly as though underwater. Their smile is calm and endless. Nuru bows his head slightly. "Dream gardener." He purrs. The gardener nods in return. Their presence feels like resting your head against a kind shoulder. No pressure. No expectation, only acceptance. Amina stands respectfully. "I didn't know there was a gardener," she says. "There is always a gardener," they reply, their voice like wind passing through chimes. "Someone, or something, tending the quiet wishes of the world." They kneel beside a cluster of tiny blossoms and brush their fingertips along the air above them, not touching. The flowers lift their faces just a little higher. Amina tilts her head. "Can anyone learn to take care of dreams?" she asks. The gardener smiles gently. "Yes," they say. "Anyone who learns to listen softly." They look at her for a long, kind moment. "And you listen very softly, Amina." Warmth moves through her chest. "I want to help," she says. "Not just at the lighthouse. Here too. If I can." "You already are," the gardener replies. "By resting. By being gentle. By allowing your heart to soften." They gesture to the entire garden. Dreams grow strongest when there is kindness in the world. Nuru hums, "Also naps," he adds. The gardener chuckles softly. "Yes. Also naps." Sparkles. Amina sits again beneath the dream tree. The grass here feels like velvet. The sky remains full of sleepy stars. The lullaby continues, maybe coming from the flowers, maybe coming from everything, and slowly, Amina begins to feel even more relaxed than before. As though the dream itself is encouraging her to drift even deeper. "Is it all right?" she asks softly. "If I rest here a while?" The gardener nods. The garden was made for resting. Nuru curls up at her side. Her eyelids grow heavier. The tree's glow wraps around them like a warm shawl. And the last thing Amina feels before sinking fully into dream sleep within the dream is gratitude, for the lighthouse, for the dreams, for the garden, for the quiet, for the softness of being alive in a world that believes in peace, sparkles, and somewhere far away, or very near. The lighthouse beam continues turning, and Captain Willow smiles to himself, knowing that Amina's heart is learning the deepest truth. When we rest gently, the world becomes a kinder place. You may rest too. Whenever you're ready, you are safe, you are held, you are welcome here. Amina's own dream bottle for a little while. There is nothing, not empty nothing, but the gentle, peaceful nothing you feel right between breaths. Amina rests there, wrapped in the warmth of the moon-shaped bed, wrapped in the lavender glow of Nuru's fur, wrapped in the silent song of the lighthouse. Her body is very still, her breathing is very soft, her mind floats like a feather over a quiet sea. Time doesn't rush here, that it doesn't even walk, that it drifts, sparkles very slowly, almost shyly. Morning begins to think about arriving, not fully, not brightly, just a hint that a barely there lightness at the very edge of the world. The lantern at the top of the lighthouse senses the change first. The great glowing lens shifts its mood, from guiding the sleep of the world to watching over the softest part of early dawn. The beam grows gentler, if that is even possible, that a hush falls over the waves, like the sea is rolling onto its side in its sleep. Somewhere in the town below, a rooster thinks about crowing, and decides to wait a little longer. In the room of bottled dreams, the shelves remain calm, many bottles are dim again, resting from the journeys they made during the night. A few still glow, lazily, as if they are late to fall asleep. Everything is slow, everything is safe. On the little moon-shaped bed, Amina stirs, her fingers curl slightly against the blanket, her toes stretch, pressing into the soft mattress, her eyelids flutter, then settle. She is still drifting between deep sleep and gentle waking, not quite here, not quite there. A place where everything is soft around the edges. Nuru is already awake, in his own way. His eyes are closed, but his ears swivel lazily toward tiny sounds, a distant seabird, a soft creak in the wooden beams, the quiet thud of Captain Willow's slippers somewhere far below. That he decides there is no need to move, not yet. His purr continues, not as loud, not as constant, just enough to remind the room that he is there. A tiny lighthouse of his own sparkles eventually. The soft rhythm of the world shifts enough that Amina begins to wake more fully. Her first awareness is warmth. The blanket is perfectly snug, not too heavy, not too light, just the right amount of cozy weight pressing gently against her shoulders. Her second awareness is softness. The pillow under her cheek cradles her head. The mattress holds her like a gentle, supportive hug. Her third awareness is sound. The sea, beyond the round window near her bed, makes a hush 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 sound. Slow waves rolling onto the shore, then rolling away again. Her fourth awareness is Nuru. A quiet vibration presses against her side. She can feel his purr more than she can hear it, like a tiny engine of comfort humming along with her heartbeat. She doesn't open her eyes immediately. There's no need. She rests in that in-between state, where you know you're lying down, and you know you're safe, but you haven't asked your body to move yet. Here, thoughts are mellow, memories are soft, everything feels possible and unhurried. Amina inhales, slow. She notices the air smells like warm wood. A hint of ash from a distant fire, something sweet, like cocoa and starlight mixed together. She exhales, very slowly. The breath leaves her body as if it is reluctant to go, and then returns again on its own, easy and calm. For a moment, she wonders if the dream garden was real, or just a dream. But then she remembers what Nuru told her: dream places often are both. So she smiles, eyes still closed, and that feels like enough, sparkles when Amina finally opens her eyes. She does it the way a flower opens its petals after a long, gentle night. Not all at once, little by little. Light from the round window is pale and pearly. It is not bright. It does not stab into her gaze. It just glows, as if the sky has decided to paint itself in the soft colors of morning milk. The room of bottled dreams is quiet. Some lanterns along the walls are dim. Some bottles glow faintly, tiny reminders of all the wishes and hopes they held through the night. Nuru lifts his head. "Good morning," he says, his voice hoarse with sleep, like a cat who has spent the night purring. Amina turns her head slightly to look at him. "Is it morning?" she asks. "Almost," Nuru answers. "The kind of morning that's still half asleep." Very polite. Very soft. "I like that kind of morning," she murmurs that he yawns. The slow, wide kind of yawn that unspools from his whiskers right down to the tip of his tail. "You're supposed to," he says. "Bold mornings are for other places. Here, even the sun knows how to whisper." A gentle knock sounds at the doorway, not loud, not sharp, just tap, tap, like someone respecting the sleepiness of the room. "Come in," Amina calls softly. Captain Willow peeks around the door, his red wool hat slightly askew, his beard fluffier than usual, as though he has also just woken from a very good nap. "Good almost morning," he says, smiling. "Good almost morning." Amina echoes that he steps into the room, holding a small tray. On it sits a steaming cup of something creamy in a cartoon mug with a moon drawn on it, and a tiny plate with a soft, round pastry dusted with sugar. "I brought a sleepy breakfast," he says. "Warm milk with a hint of honey and vanilla, and a little cloud bun from the bakery down the hill. Perfect for those who have spent the night doing important dream work." Amina sits up slowly, the blanket sliding from her shoulders in a soft wave. She doesn't rush, her muscles feel relaxed and loose. Nuru hops gracefully down from the bed and stretches in that long, cat-like way that makes his back turn into a rippling curve. Captain Willow sets the tray on a small stool beside the moonbed. "How do you feel?" he asks. Amina pauses for a moment, not to search for something dramatic, but to truly check. She notices her body, her arms, her shoulders, her chest, her legs, even the space behind her eyes. "Quiet inside," she says at last. Captain Willow's smile deepens, the corners of his eyes crinkling. "The lighthouse did its job then," he replies. Sparkles. Amina sips the warm milk. That it is sweet, but not too sweet, and it glides down her throat like a soft ribbon of comfort. She can almost feel it spreading warmth through her chest, her belly, her whole body. She takes a small bite of the cloud bun. That it is pillowy, so airy it almost disappears on her tongue. It tastes faintly of sugar and lemon and something she can only call morning. Nuru eyes the bun with interest. "Can cats have a nibble?" he asks politely. "A very tiny nibble," Captain Willow replies, tearing off a crumb-sized piece and placing it carefully on a napkin. "Even in dreams, we must be kind to our tummies." Nuru gobbles it up, purrs, and then curls his tail contentedly. After a few moments of peaceful eating, Amina looks around the room again. Something is different. She can't name it at first. The shelves are the same, the bottles are the same, the soft, dim glow is the same, but there is a feeling like someone humming a new note in a familiar song. "Captain Willow?" she asks. "Did anything happen while I was asleep?" He nods, eyes sparkling. "Yes," he says. "Something special. And something very expected." She tilts her head. "Expected? she echoes that he gestures for her to finish her milk, which she does with a final, slow sip. Then he offers his hand. Come, he says. There's something you should see. Nuru leaps lightly onto Amina's shoulder, as though it is the most comfortable perch in all of Luma Bay. They walk together toward the shelves. Sparkles at first glance. Everything looks ordinary and peaceful, row upon row of little glass bottles, tiny corks, soft glows in different colors, some steady, some pulsing, some barely there. But as they move deeper into the room, Amina notices one bottle that glows differently. That it isn't brighter, exactly that it isn't bigger, but its light has a quality that makes her heart give a little flutter, not of fear, but of recognition. The bottle sits near the middle of one shelf, at exactly the height of her eyes when she stands in front of it. As if it has been placed there very deliberately, not too high, not too low, just right. The glow inside is gentle gold, with hints of soft blue and lavender swirling within it, the same color she's come to associate with the lighthouse, the sea, and Nuru's purr. Amina stops. Captain Willow stops beside her. Nuru's little paws tighten just slightly on her shoulder. That one, she whispers. Yes, Captain Willow says softly. That one. She steps closer. A tiny label hangs from the neck of the bottle, tied with a thread like a strand of moonlight. In delicate handwriting, it reads, "A dream for Amina." Her breath catches. "For me?" she whispers. "For you." Captain Willow confirms. He folds his hands together, watching her gently. "But I already dreamed," she says. "I visited the garden. I met the gardener. I sat under the dream tree." "Yes," he agrees. "You visited the garden." Many do not remember such visits. But the lighthouse wanted you to have something you could carry with you, a dream that belongs to you, but can also live here. So that whenever you come back, it will be waiting. Nuru leans forward, sniffing the bottle. "It smells like starlight," he announces. "And warm milk. And safety." Amina smiles, a little shy but very warm. "What's inside?" she asks. "You may look," Captain Willow says. "But remember, you need never rush to open your dream. Dreams bloom best when they are treated with patience." He takes the bottle from the shelf with great care and places it in her hands. It is surprisingly light. The glass is cool, but it warms quickly against her fingers. The light inside swirls slightly, as if reacting to her touch. She holds it closer, peering gently inside. She doesn't see images, not exactly. She sees impressions: the curve of the lighthouse tower against the sky, the glow of the beam across the sea, the dream garden's shimmering flowers, the first dream tree, the kind eyes of the gardener. Nuru's fluff, Captain Willow's smile, and something else, herself, lying down, eyes closed, breathing slowly, completely at peace. "I think," she says quietly, "I know what this dream is." Captain Willow nods. "Tell me," he encourages. She presses the bottle lightly to her chest, over her heart. "It's a dream where I remember," she says. "Wherever I am. However the day is. However busy my mind is. However loud the world becomes." She speaks slowly, feeling the words as they come. "I remember that there is a place inside me that is always like Luma Bay. Quiet. Safe. Gentle. That I can always return to it. With my breath. With my imagination. With the memory of this lighthouse." His eyes shine with quiet pride. "Yes," he says. "Exactly. Nuru purrs louder. That's a very useful dream, he says. Portable peace. Amina laughs softly, a small, breathy laugh, like the sound of a smile. What do I do with it? She asks. Do I take it with me? Do I leave it here? Captain Willow rests a hand lightly on her shoulder. Both, he says. You leave this bottle on the shelf, where it will always be part of the lighthouse. But what's inside? He taps very gently over her heart. You carry with you, no matter where you go. She touches the bottle again. Will I always be able to feel it? She asks. Whenever you breathe slowly, he says. Whenever you soften your shoulders. Whenever you close your eyes and imagine the sea saying "Esich, esich, esich," you will be right back here. The dream will open for you like one of the flowers in the garden. She nods. She feels that it's true. Sparkles together. They return the bottle to its place. It looks perfectly at home among the others. Not more important, not less, part of the great, gentle collection of wishes and rest. Now, Captain Willow says, there is one more thing the lighthouse would like to show you, before you decide whether to sleep again, or begin your day. Amina blinks. There's more? She asks. The night is full of more, he replies simply. And morning is full of quiet secrets too. Nuru hops down from her shoulder and pads toward the balcony, glancing back as if to say, come on. They follow him. Sparkles outside on the balcony. The world has shifted again. The sky is no longer the deep indigo of night, but not yet the bright blue of midday. It is a soft gradient of colors, pale purples, gentle pinks, whispers of gold. The moon has gone to rest. The sun is not yet fully awake. It is the between time, the time when dreams gently lay themselves down and day slowly picks itself up. The sea reflects the sky's colors, ripples painted in pastel shades. The village roofs below are outlined in pale light, windows still mostly dark. The beam of the lighthouse has dimmed almost to a glow wisp, more symbolic than functional now. But it still turns, slowly, as if unwilling to stop watching over the sleeping world until it is absolutely certain the day is ready. Amina leans on the low stone wall, her hands resting lightly on its smooth surface. The stone is cool, but not cold. She takes a long, slow breath of the morning air. It tastes fresh, new, like a clean page. What does the lighthouse do now? She asks. When the world is waking up. Captain Willow stands beside her, his gaze following the slow turn of the beam. Now, he says quietly, it rests too. Not completely, but a little. It lets the sun take over the watching. It lets daytime lights guide daytime journeys. He smiles, and it keeps its eye on the bottles. Waiting. Listening. Preparing for night again. So it sleeps, she says, as much as a lighthouse can. He chuckles. It enters a kind of quiet. A pause. Like a long, slow blink. Nuru hops up onto the wall again, his fur catching the soft colors of the sky. And we can rest anytime, he says. Day or night. As long as we remember how. Amina watches as the first true rays of sunlight begin to peek over the horizon, brushing the tips of the waves. She feels content, not rushed, not pulled, just here. In this moment, she thinks of the people in the world, waking up in their own beds. Some rested. Some still tired. Some remembering their dreams. Some not. She wonders how many of them slept under a dream sent from the room of bottled dreams. She hopes it was many. Do you think they know? She asks softly. That someone, or something, was watching over their sleep. Captain Willow shakes his head. Not in their minds, he says. But in the way they stretch in the morning. In the way their chest feels a little lighter. In the way a small smile appears for no particular reason as they pour their tea. He looks at her. That is enough, he says. They do not need to know every detail. They only need to feel a little more at peace. Amina nods. The wind brushes past them, carrying the soothing smell of salt and something floral from the cliffs. She closes her eyes again. For a moment, she imagines herself somewhere else, back in her own bed, perhaps, or in a small cartoon home near the bay. She imagines lying on her back, blanket over her, eyes heavy, listening to the sea. She realizes she can feel the lighthouse even in that image. She can feel the bottle with her name on it. She can feel the dream garden. She can feel the first dream tree, all inside her, always reachable, through a breath, through a single calm thought. I can rest now, sparkles after a while, unmeasured, unimportant. Captain Willow gently clears his throat. Amina, he says, his voice still soft, you may stay as long as you like. Sleep again. Wander the garden. Sit with the bottles. Or, if you wish, you may let this visit settle into your heart, and return for now to your own world. She looks up at him, curious. Return, she echoes that. He nods. The lighthouse will always be here, he says. It is part of you now, as you are part of it. You can close your eyes wherever you are and feel the path back. But dreams like this, long, deep dreams, are precious. They visit when they are needed most. Nuru blinks. Sometimes, he adds, the kindest thing we can do is wake up gently. The idea doesn't frighten her, surprisingly. It comforts her. To bring this feeling back? She asks. Yes, Captain Willow replies. To remember that calm is possible. To remember that safety is real. To remember that the world has a lighthouse made of dreams, always turning somewhere, even if you can't see it. He places a hand over her heart once more. And to remember, he says slowly, that you yourself can be a small lighthouse too. Just by being gentle. With yourself. With others. With your own tired thoughts. Her eyes soften. She imagines herself sitting beside someone else, another cartoon child, perhaps, who can't quite fall asleep. She imagines telling them about Luma Bay. About the bottles. About the garden. About the dream of believing I am enough. She feels, suddenly, that she could. Will I forget? She asks. When I wake up, will it all get blurry? A little, he admits kindly. That is how dreams protect themselves. Sharp edges fade. Soft feelings remain. He touches her cheek gently. But you will remember enough. Enough to sleep better. Enough to be kinder to yourself. Enough to trust that even on nights when sleep is slow to arrive, you are still being held. Nuru leans against her leg. And if you ever feel like you can't find the way back, he adds, just remember me. A fluffy, glowing cat who lives in a lighthouse that smells like cocoa and salt. You'll be here again before you know it. Amina laughs softly. I don't think I could forget you, she says. Good, Nuru replies. Sparkles. She takes one last long look at the world from the balcony, the pastel sky, the quiet sea, the sleepy town, the soft, turning beam. Then she closes her eyes. She places one hand over her heart again, where the dream bottle's feeling lives, and she breathes in and out, slow, gentle. She lets every part of her relax, her jaw, her shoulders, her hands, her stomach, her legs, even her thoughts. She imagines them all as little boats allowed to rest in a calm harbor. Captain Willow's voice drifts around her like warm fog. Remember, you are safe, you are cared for, you are allowed to rest. The world can wait, your chores can wait, your worries can float for a while without you holding them. She feels lighter. He continues, anytime you wish to return here, just close your eyes. Picture the lighthouse. Picture the beam. Picture the shelves of dreams, and know that the door will open, as gently as sleep itself. She feels Nuru's head press against her arm, rubbing a little glow into her skin. Sweet dreams, he murmurs. Now, and every night. The world begins to blur again, the balcony, the room, the bottles, the lighthouse, all dissolve into soft colors, like watercolor paint in clear water, and Amina drifts, sparkles somewhere, maybe in another place, maybe in your own bed. Amina opens her eyes into waking, but something is different now. Inside her, there is a steady, quiet light, not bright, not loud, just there, whenever she closes her eyes at night. Whenever you close your eyes at night, the midnight lighthouse of Luma Bay turns its beam one more time, over bottle dreams, over sleepy seas, over the garden, over the dream tree, over Captain Willow, over Nuru, over Amina, and perhaps, over you, watching, listening, sending you a very simple dream. You are safe, you are enough, you are allowed to rest now. As this story grows quieter, as your breath slows down, as your thoughts become softer and softer, you can imagine that soft lighthouse light brushing gently over your room, and if your eyes haven't closed yet, they can close whenever they like. Nothing is required, nothing is forced. Sleep comes the way the tide does. Slowly, gently, in its own time, and when it does, the lighthouse will be there, just where you left it.